Welcome to Adjust Your Mirrors, the #1 empowerment podcast show on the planet. Are you in need of motivation? Are you ready to take your personal and professional life to the next level? Then you've come to the right place. Adjust Your Mirrors. This is the podcast that's devoted to helping you see more clearly by making small adjustments. And now, here's your host, Reginald C. Allen.
Hey. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Adjust Your Mirrors. I am your host, Reginald C. Allen. Just thanking all of you again for tuning in. Thank you. Listen. I am just so thankful, family, that you've taken the time to just tune in. You could be anywhere else. You could be listening to any other podcasts, which I'm sure you listen to other podcasts, but I just want you to know that I am very thankful for you who have decided to listen to the Adjust Your Mirrors podcast show. Thank you, and make sure you go and tell a couple of people about the show, okay? You know, today is Monday. How are you feeling this morning? I mean, are you listening on the way to work? Are you thinking to yourself, I have to get out of this corporate rat race? I want to encourage you today. Just continue to keep going. I want to encourage you and let you know the race is not given to the swift, but he or she that endures. So my friend, family, just keep pushing. Those goals that you want to accomplish, don't give up on them. Those dreams, don't give up on them. So let me ask you this particular question, because, I know a lot of times we do get weary. We do get discouraged. And sometimes we don't know if we're doing the right things, because sometimes doing the right things, it can seem that it doesn't have any payoff, I know at times when we look at people, which we shouldn't, but it seems like sometimes those who are involved in dirty businesses and just, always scheming and conniving, it seems like they are the ones who always accomplish things that we're trying to accomplish. But you know what? Be encouraged. Your time is coming. Now, look, this is what I want to talk about today, because, again, sometimes we do get discouraged, but when we get to those places in our life where we're on our path, we're doing what we feel that we should do, and things aren't working, it's just like, man, I've been doing this for so long and I don't know what else to do. My friends, I want to help you today. I want you to know that there is a time throughout life, throughout our journey, where we have to pivot, okay? Have to pivot. For those of you who understand like football or basketball, some of the greatest people in sports, we could talk about Michael Jordan, right? He had such a smooth pivot move. He would go into one direction and then he would make a little quick move, quick pivot to the right or pivot to the left. And he would go all the way to the goal. So the purpose of pivoting is what? To accomplish one goal. Or many goals, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. But if we're going to use the sports analogy, these players, they'll make a move, they'll pivot in another direction so that they can go to the goal. So friends, family, listen. Likewise, we have to pivot too. We just can't continue to stay the same. We can't continue to do one thing one way all the time. No, we need to understand that pivoting, it helps us to move in a new direction, or, not just move in a new direction, which that ultimately there's going to be some times where we want to move in a new direction, but sometimes we have to create new strategies. We can't just stay the same all the time. Now, listen, I'll give you an example. Years ago, I used to speak to at-risk youth, okay? And haven't done it in years, but I'm going to go back out there, start talking to these youth. And I understand the stories and the messages that I said back in the 90s or whatever. I can't use those stories. Things have changed. Times have changed. I have to revamp or update some of the messages because there's millennials out there who may not be able to relate to some of those stories. So ultimately, we want to go to the goal. Ultimately, I have a goal, right, to help people. But my strategy, the way I go about it, may be different. And that's okay. That's okay. Own your path. Know what God has called you to do. Own it. But also know when it's time to pivot, because you have to be strategic when you're trying to accomplish your goals, okay? And trying to gain momentum, sometimes it can be a challenge. You're trying every single day, and it's like, man, I want to gain some momentum, and I'm not gaining it. So what can I do? Family, pivot, move in a new direction. Think of an organization, a business that that initially they started off one way, and then they made some changes, because the ultimate goal of pivoting is just so that you can create opportunities for growth. How many of you remember when Facebook was only for college kids? I do. I remember I worked with these two guys. They were going to Georgia Tech, and they were on Facebook. And I'm like, what is Facebook? Oh, well, you have to go to college and this and that. And I didn't even think of anything else about it. But now Facebook is for everyone. Why? Because they understood, if we're going to expand, if we're going to grow, we have to have a new strategy. We have to change some things up. Now, it doesn't change the core of who you are, but it does allow you the opportunity to expand. Ultimately, you want to reach as many people as you possibly can. Whatever it is that you're called to do, whatever your journey is, you want to make sure that you connect to the people who need to connect to you. And if that means changing the strategy, if that means pivoting, then my friend, you need to do it. But more than anything, you can't quit, okay? Pivoting is just moving in another direction, whether it's slightly to the right or slightly to the left. But I want to encourage you, you cannot quit. And I want you to ask yourself this question, and I want you to be realistic with yourself. Are you gaining traction? Are you gaining momentum? Just you. Look at what you're doing, okay? Have you gained some momentum? And I'm sure you can say yes. But the problem is this, right? The problem is the fact that a lot of times we will take what we're doing and compare it to what other people are doing. For example, me being a podcaster, I could easily look at the numbers of someone else and say, whoa, my God, they have 1,000 downloads a day. But that's okay. You have to gain traction, because guess what? I have more downloads than I had yesterday, So you're gaining momentum. It's just going to take you a while. And if you never reach those numbers, it's not even about you reaching the numbers. It's just about you connecting to the people that are called to be with you. But you have to be committed. Are you committed? Ask yourself that question. Are you committed to the cause? And what's the cause? The cause is your purpose. Are you committed to your purpose? Are you committed to the cause? Or are you committed to comfort? Are you just committed to comfort? Well, what do you mean? You don't really want to stretch yourself. You don't really want to challenge yourself. You just want to do things that are comfortable to you. My friend, family, we will never achieve our goals playing it safe. We have to step out of the comfort zone, because when you're committed to comfort, this will always enable passion and commitment to leave, always. And when commitment leaves, my friend, we will never accomplish our goals. I'm telling you, commitment is such a foundational piece in what we're trying to do, a principle, I should say. We have to stay committed. We can't give up. Yes, it seems like The defensive players are coming at you. They're surrounding you like they would Michael Jordan. But guess what? You have to break free. You have to do a couple of moves to the right, a couple of moves to the left, pivot this way, turn around. And guess what? You have to jump up and dunk the ball, my friend. You can do it. We can do it. Sure, we might have to make some modifications. Sure, we might have to tweak some things. But ultimately, our pivot move will get us to the finish line. Work on your pivot move. Work on your new strategy. Work on walking in another direction, in a new direction, not throwing away the entire plan, but just maybe modifying things. Work on the pivot move. Spend some time. Get out of the comfort zone. Get out of the comfort zone, my friend. You got too much work to do. We have too much work to do than to sit around, get discouraged, and throw away our goals. I want to ask you this. How much money are you willing to make in order to give up on your dreams? How much? How many times will you go to all these different jobs before you start understanding that you have dreams that need to be accomplished? Pivot. Work on the pivot move. Work it out. Don't quit. No, don't quit. Don't give up. I know it's challenging. I know you want to quit. I know everyone's speaking against you and they're talking about you and they're making fun of you and you want to just let it go. I'm telling you, move in a new direction, maybe create a new strategy, but never, ever, 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 never, ever let go of the dream. Okay, family? So I'm going to get out of here. It's Monday. Let it be a mighty Monday, okay? And if things get challenging, doesn't mean that it's time for you to quit. It just means you need to make a quick little pivot move, all right? So with that being said, be empowered.
Thank you for listening to the Adjust Your Mirrors podcast with Reginald C. Allen. Be sure to visit the Adjust Your Mirrors private Facebook group and don't forget to follow Reginald on Twitter at Reginald C. Allen. Please remember, when you're listening on iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating review. Until next time, be empowered.